All right, guys, welcome back to the garage. It's Tush coming at you from the Tush Mahal, and we're on to another project on the 1962 Triumph Vitesse Sport 6. Excuse the voice. I'm still under the weather, unfortunately, but we're not going to waste a nice weekend day out here without trying to get a little bit forward ahead on the projects on this car. So I left off my last video. We were talking about installing a custom gauge pod in the center of the car, something that's going to look like this underneath the ashtray attached to the bottom of the dash. So that's the project for this weekend, is to try to get something put into metal and finished. We have the gauges standing by. We have cables and oil lines standing by, whatever is required to actually put those gauges in. So I guess without further ado, let's get to it. All right, we've got the Vitesse back on the ground and out of the garage so we can get our little work center set up in here. We've got our MIG welder standing by, as we're going to plan on using that to do a little bit of customization to this panel that we're making. We have our sheet metal standing by. We're going to make this out of 16 gauge. That seems to be a fairly good gauge to make it out of. I have 16 and 18 gauge in the garage, so I think 16 is probably a better choice for this. We have our template ready to go. So we're going to grab an angle grinder with a cutting wheel, and we're going to cut this shape out. And then we'll proceed to marking out based on the template. And we've got some hole saws, metal hole saws standing by to cut out the, roughly cut out the diameter of the gauge sizing, the center one being the tack, the two outside being the volt and the oil. Unfortunately, the hole saws I have are slightly smaller. Actually, the outside gauges, the hole saw matches fairly closely, but the inside's a little bit smaller. So we're gonna have to use our Dremel basically, or my rotary tool basically, to get that out to a size where I can fit the gauge in. We don't wanna oversize it, so we'll do a little bit material removal, a little bit by little bit, and fit the gauge in and out. Make sure we've got a good tight fit in there. And that's it. So let's get to cutting this metal out. All right, we've got our little plate here all marked out, and we've got our cutters, our hole saws standing by. Now, unfortunately, that's as large as I have, so we're gonna have to do quite a bit of work to make this work, but we'll creep up to it. And then this one's pretty close. I think I need about 51 or 52 mils. This is a 50, so we'll have to do less work on the smaller gauges. That'll get us close. All right, so we'll break out the drill and make those holes, and we'll come back for the next step. All right, we've got the gauges installed in the back plate, and I think what we'll do tonight is we'll disassemble these gauges and give them a good cleanup and probably paint the needles. The needles are a little yellow in these two gauges. At least the voltmeter's not too bad. I'm assuming these gauges work, so we're gonna find out, I guess, eventually. The thing that I want to do now is I want to get the brake out, which I don't have, but I have a vise. We're going to break this here at the top, and we're going to bend that flange forward, as I'd mentioned. I also want to create a flange on the outside of this heading backwards, just to close in this a little bit so you can't see so much of the gauges once they're installed. You won't be able to see from the side. So we'll weld on a flange here, smooth that out, and make that look good. All right, I was just trying to figure out what tack to use, and I've got one here from a Spitfire and the one I previously showed you from a GT6. So we've just attached the one from the Spitfire up to the cable drive on the tack, and this one doesn't work at all. So we're not going to use this as an option. We've got the GT6 one hooked up right now, and it is operating as it should, as you can see. So we'll go ahead and clean this one up and use it as it is. All right. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and weld this flange piece on the side here all the way around to give it some strength and to hide the back of the panel a little bit from the sides. So we're going to basically just tack this all the way around, and then we'll finish weld it up, grind it down, and hopefully it'll be invisible along the edge where I weld it. when we're done? We'll find out. All right, we've got that flange basically tacked on, and we've done one quick pass to fill in a few of the gaps. And the next step is to finish weld it and then grind it. So I thought I'd just take a quick shot while I'm here before we go to finish welding it and then before grinding. All right, it's fully welded now, all the way around. So we'll let that cool down. We'll probably go inside, have a quick break, let it cool down, come out, grab the grinder, and grind those down and have a look at what the finished piece is going to look like before we go into the next step. All right, we've got it outside here, and we're just giving it a quick coat of clear coat, letting it dry outside here. So there's the first coat down. We'll probably put 2 or 3 coats on here, let it dry out here in the sun, and then we'll be ready to put it in the car. All right, it's the next day. Still a little bit under the weather, but out in the garage nonetheless. So we're checking out the panel we did yesterday. Here it is out in the sun. I think it looks not too bad. So again, we can always go back and refinish this in a different direction if we want to try to do the faux wood painting or paint it black, whatever. But we'll go with the engine turn for now. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to install this in the car. And I've got 3 holes drilled at the top here, and we'll drill corresponding holes in the bottom of the metal dash to fit it. I do want this to actually flip up a little bit, so I don't want it to be flat straight up and down. For viewability, I want it to be on a little bit of an angle up. So let's see how we did as far as bending that flange is concerned. All right, quick video showing the plate installed. And you'll notice we have the ashtray out just to give us a bit more access underneath the dash. But I think that looks pretty good there. So we'll go ahead and we'll start installing the newly refurbed gauges. I think we'll put the oil gauge on the outside so I can see it a little bit better. The inside gauge, which will be the voltmeter, is a little bit more obscured by the steering wheel. And of course the tach will go in the center. So let's get those installed. All right, we're going to start with the oil gauge first. So we needed an oil gauge line. So we bought this from British Parts Northwest. There's the part number. This is actually supplied by TSI Automotive. And you can see here in the instructions it indicates TSI. So we've installed these before on our other TRs. So we'll go ahead and install this one. Nice braided stainless steel. What we need to do is we need to remove a oil plug in the gallery at the rear here of the car. You're not going to be able to see it, but it's back here. There's an oil gallery plug that we need to be removed to be able to put the fitting in. So we'll go ahead and do that now, and we'll show you that oil plug when we remove it. All right, here's the little oil gallery plug that we removed. And you can see it's got a, I don't know if you can see that or not, it's got a little hex head on it. These can be really stuck in the block. Anyway, we've got a 3/16 little hex wrench, hex bit. This is the fitting that will replace that. Now we need to either Teflon tape this or put some thread sealant on it. So we've got the thread sealant standing by, and we'll install this in the block. Thread sealant only onto the part that goes into the block, not the part that goes to the line, according to the instructions. All right, we've run into a small problem. Our tach cable is too short to be able to reach to where we want to hook our tach up. Obviously, the run's a little bit longer than normal with it going directly behind the dash. So we're a few inches short. So I'm going to head over to the Rusty Beauty Shop and see if they might have, or if he might have, another cable we can borrow and try to make this work. So we're heading over there now and we'll check. All right, guys, it's the next day, and I think we left off at my tach cable conundrum. It was a little bit too short to reach where we needed it to be. And we went over to the Rusty Beauty Shop, and he didn't have a longer cable. And I was thinking about the possibility that I might have to find something for a right-hand drive vehicle, which would mean that the cable would be longer. So I started sourcing on Rimmers in the UK for a right-hand drive GT6 tach cable. And yes, they are indeed longer than the left-hand drive cable. So I'll have to source a right-hand drive tach cable at some point in time. In the meantime, Ellen was clever, and we managed to attach 2 cables together. So I've got quite a long cable on here now, actually too long, but it's a temporary measure. And trust me, it wasn't easy to make that work. That meant welding a couple of the inner cables together and then making a joint basically to join the 2 cables together. So yeah, it took quite a bit of work to make this happen. So we're up and running for now. I'm not sure how long this is going to last as far as the weld is concerned on the inner cable, but it's actually working. And as you can tell, we've got the tach installed. We actually have the voltmeter installed as well. I think you saw the oil pressure gauge before. Now the voltmeter is installed. Now we need to wire that up. We'd also like to add a port for a USB or a lighter socket, basically. So we need to power that, or find power for that as well. So I've got all my wiring gear out here, and I'm just trying to figure out where I want to tap into. I think we want to tap into the green circuit, which is a switch circuit. I've run a ground from the engine bay back into the passenger compartment here, so I've got a good ground location. So let's figure out where I can grab the green from. I'm trying to think about something maybe up here by the fuse box we can tap into, or under the dash. So we'll have a quick look and see what the best option is. All right, we're up at the fuse box. Scary place for me to be. But we have the green circuit up here, and I just attached this one cable. We've got our test light out here, and we were just trying to determine switched versus unswitched. So the left side here is constant power, so the brown circuit. And then we've got this purple circuit over here, which is constant power. And then we have a switch circuit over here. It looks like the purple, yellow, or the purple circuit, white circuit, and then the green circuit on here is the switch side. So I think we're going to try to tie in here and run a wire back through the bulkhead in behind the dash for power. All right, so volt gauge is hooked up. Obviously, tack cable's hooked up. Oil pressure gauge hooked up. Fabulous oil pressure. So that's all looking good. Still creeping up a little bit here. Now we've got our USB port to plumb in, which is probably going to be just to the side here under the dash. Maybe we'll hide it back a little bit. We'll see what we have available for areas to attach it to. But we've got some pigtails connected here, basically to plug into for power and ground for the USB as well. So yeah, looking pretty good. All right, we'll shut her down before we gas ourselves out. All right, guys, we're all hooked up electronically now, and everything is working as it should. So we've got our USB charger down here, obviously blue. I decided to put this down here. We'll have more of a discussion when I turn the car off about why I decided to locate it here. But everything is looking good. All right, gonna clean the wiring up, tuck it away up under the dash, and we'll call this project done. All right, guys, one quick last look at this project before we put it to bed. So we have all the wiring and cabling tucked away, and we've got the interior vacuumed up nicely, so that's looking pretty good. Again, I know this project might not be everybody's cup of tea. Somebody who might have just kept a stock dash with a single gauge. But in particular, I really like having an oil gauge, oil pressure gauge in these cars. That's the one that was sort of a major concern to me, is having that oil pressure gauge. The tack and voltmeter, not so much, but it's nice to have all the full complement of gauges to refer to when driving these old cars. So what would I change on this project? Well, I'd probably shorten this panel up a little bit and bring the gauges a little bit up higher towards the underside of the dash. And this is something I can do in the future during the non-driving season. So in the winter, I might want to shorten that panel up. Again, we talked about possibility of doing a faux wood painting on there, or even painting it black. So that's another thing I can consider. We're gonna live with this for now. Obviously, the addition of the power outlets is a big thing for me, since I have camera gear with me, GPS, phone, I need to charge, that kind of stuff. So those are gonna come in handy. So anyway, that's what that looks like. Again, not everybody's cup of tea, and I understand that, but I'm gonna enjoy having the extra gauge package there that the later cars actually had. All right, guys, that's it for now. We'll see you probably this weekend. We've got a show coming up. It's a weekend show. So I'm heading up to a place called Owen Sound, Ontario. I'm going to take the TR4 with me as well. My neighbor Les will be driving the TR4 loaner. I'm going to be taking the Vitesse. The weather doesn't look very promising, but this will be its first test this weekend's trip. So hopefully things go well in the Vitesse and we stay relatively dry. All right, we'll see you then. Thanks for watching. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for subscribing. See you on the next video.